that must be so empowering, because like it's sort of like, there's something, you explore something, and then recognition.
But it's one of those things that a lot of creators actually have to deal with, and it's imposter syndrome, and one of those things.
Oh wait, hold on, sorry.
Boom.
I just realized the wrong microphone is on.
Oh, damn.
I love it.
And Zadok is going in, bruh.
Mans was cooking. Mans was cooking.
Yo, let him cook.
Mans was out here with the imposter syndrome.
I don't even know where that came from, bro.
Speaking psychology.
Bro, I don't know where that came from.
I was about to cry.
Niggas like, I'm in this, man. My life is changing right now.
And I think it was going so well, so I was like, let me just check, right?
This is the second time this happens to me.
When? Really?
This happened to me last month on set. Clash of the Choirs. We did a diary behind the scenes. I spoke so much good English, bro. I was so proud. They were like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. They're like, yeah. It wasn't recorded.
Yep.
And that is the story behind how Nick Archibald's ADD hits again. Right, welcome to part 2. Zadok and I are sitting here. The energy is super high. Microphones weren't on. Things were said. Things will never be heard.
Boom.
Talk to me about like a creative journey, because like there's so many doubts, and I'll even say, like, honestly, as a radio presenter, I mean, I'm a radio presenter. I'm a creative director at an agency. I make content. I do all these, but my days on Mondays. Mondays hit me.
Yeah.
And I think everything's wrong with my life.
Yeah.
And that happens as a creative, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think my process is very interesting for me because I came out having the ability to play instruments, and I've been playing from like the age of 5. I've been involved in church, and I've been playing recreationally and actually just being involved with the instruments and doing stuff, but I wasn't aware of the level of skill that I actually had in terms of my craft or my skill set. So it took a process for me. It took me engaging with that process and actually having moments outside of myself, like a couple of my videos going viral on social media, and like recognition from industry peers and people who are actually doing it at a professional level at the time, which I wasn't. And those kind of things that kind of like validated what I had a feeling of, but I was not sure of, And those things are kind of those moments that kind of remind you that you are him.
Yeah.
You are who you think you are.
Himmy Butler.
Himmy Butler. You get me?
Yeah.
So, that was my process. It took a couple of years for me after the dropout. I think it was around 2016, 2017 when I made the conscious decision to say, you know what? Let's go. Let's do it. Let's take the risk. Let's take the leap of faith and go for it.
As a completely random question, like, are you able to take yourself out of the equation and listen to a song like Wonder and understand that has impact?
I think so, and I believe I can, because I believe I have a certain level of compartmentalization that I don't think a lot of creative people have. And I think that's what allows me to do all the different jobs that I currently do. Like, I'm a music exec A&R at a company, and I am also a music producer. I'm also a music director on TV shows. I'm also Zadok, the artist, dropping music and doing all of these things. All of these things require different hats and different responsibilities and different ways of looking at situations. So I think I do have that ability to step outside of myself and say, okay, maybe not my best song. Oh, that is a banger. This is one of the greatest songs I've ever made. Ever.
I couldn't agree.
And I made lemons.
We're on the rise.
You understand?
That's what I'm saying. So before we get into the song, you mentioned your other 3 jobs. Working as an exec, like an A&R, and being a director and that sort of thing. Is that how does that impact the way you approach your music? Because even though you wear different hats, you compartmentalize things.
Yes.
Whatever you do outside of, let's say, your main thing or one specific thing, you take strings of knowledge, of understanding from these different positions. How has that helped you in your Zadok, the musician, the artist, the producer hat? How have you taken it?
So there's 2 things to it, 2 sides to it. The first side is that I apply myself very similarly in all of these creative scenarios. So I use the example of instrumentation. The way I sing if you hear me play guitar, I use a lot of the same melodies that I use when I'm singing. If you hear me play bass, you'll hear a lot of the same phrases that I usually use when I'm playing drums for someone else. So for me, it's one creative synergy, right? That it's one house of creativity that I'm like building from, moving from. I have one base. That's the first step. The second step is this is the one part of my creativity that lets me just be me. I get to just lose myself in the music and just actually just, bro, like do what I want as a creative. So I think I haven't really had to appease the other sides of me. Like I don't really think about how it would feel on stage. I don't really think about being a music director or charts or all of that. I just, what do I want to express in this moment? Music.
Let's talk about the track. Firstly, congratulations. Round of applause. Someone put it in.
Booyah.
Someone put it in. That's what
I'm
I'm doing so well on the charts. It gets requested a bunch. It gets sung a bunch. It gets talked about a bunch. And it's a beautiful, beautiful track.
Thank you, man.
Did you decide between Shekhinah and Manana before you made the production or
No.
after you made the production?
So it was after I made the production. I actually started the song on guitar.
Okay.
Came up with the chords. No, I lie. I started with the beat. I did the drums first.
Okay. Yeah.
I started with that, and then guitar or keys are usually one of my first options in terms of melodic direction whenever I'm building stuff. And I usually start with the music, and then that kind of builds whatever creative concept I want to build on. But that's always based on the music first, and then after that I can tell the story whatever lyrically. So
did you hear that melody in your head, the drums in your head, or
Yeah.
so where were you when you heard that?
I was at home.
At home, chilling on the couch,
I make everything at home.
chilling, and then a beat comes to you and you make this.
Yes.
People, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. So when you're when you're building these melodies, you say you jump on the keys, you're jumping on guitar, you have your drum in the background, and you're building these melodies.
Yeah.
You know music like the back of your hand.
Yes, sir.
You know voices, harmonies, pitches like the back of your hand.
Yes.
Why Shekhinah and Manana?
Because of where it took the song. So I began the song, like I said, with the beat, and then I had the instrumental. I had the lock drum. I opened up Fruity Loops, built that, did the bass line, all of that, put that back in Logic. I have the song kind of like in just an instrumental format. And then I started building a mental picture of how I want the song to emotively feel, right? And that's how I began my process, how I always begin my process. It's about, okay, concept. What story am I trying to tell? And I'm telling the story of, it's a love story, but it's a reaffirmation of something that I felt. That's why the hook says, Ngisaktan, I still love you, because I've expressed that before.
That's beautiful.
Right. So it's that was the idea behind it. So I think I came up with that first, and then I went back and told the story of that with my verse, obviously. I want to see how far we can go. I wonder, your flows to me are perfection, Stevie Wonder. I wrote that verse with a good friend of mine, Bali. He wrote a lot of Mass Country, actually. I brought him onto the Mass Country project with AK, and he wrote on Lemon's Company, you name it. So we wrote that because we're close friends. He was at my place. We just worked on that together, bounced ideas off each other, and we came up with that verse. And then as things happen, I've been spending a lot of time with Manana, because I also work with him from a music directorial standpoint. I work on his live shows. I build his live shows as well. So we're creatives. We hang out, we chill, we're talking about it. I'm like, bro, I got this record, and we need to work on it, because he's got one of those ethereal voices that are able to find space that not a lot of people can find in the music.
He's one of those. Such a beautiful way of putting it.
Yeah, like he's got that James Blake thing where it's a space you didn't see coming, that Bon Iver feeling where it's like, woof, what, nothing to that. 'Cause that space exists, but, So he's one of those guys. So he helped me build the story in the hook. And then, I really don't absolutely 100% remember how the Shekhinah verse came about. I just know we had been talking. And she has a studio in Randburg, Figure of Eight Productions, where a lot of us rehearse and a lot of us hang out. And then I was there and we spoke about the record, and I think I sent it to her, and we had a session, me, her, and Manan, and just sat. And just, again, it was all built around, what's the story we're telling? What's the story of Wanda, of I love you? What is that? And then for me, the main reason why I wanted her on the record, I'll tell you, she is the face of that sound in SA. Because what I've done is I've taken what's happening in popular culture, both from a mainstream perspective and just like in the specific genre perspective. So I've taken the lock drum from Mama Piano, I've taken the beat references from Afro pop and Afro beat, I've taken the lyrical references that you'd ordinarily hear in a straight pop song and put that in that world and made those worlds merge. So having someone like that who's done that before in her own capacity and very well was kind of the reason why I chose her to have a record, because Shekhinah's got that voice, bro. It's a very sweet voice. She can sing nothing.
Literally.
She can say the power of 5 FM and make it sound amazing, bro.
No, 100%. You are one of the coolest people on planet Earth. I am so happy you came through. Shout out, thanks so much for the story behind.
Absolutely.
We'll put this on the 5FM app. We'll do the things that need to be done.
Sure.
The story behind Zadok,
That's it.
Shekhinah and Manana, a track called Wonder.
Dangerous.
Thanks for coming through, brother.
Thank you, my brother. Don't you wonder?
I always wonder, baby. Always.
So do I.
That was so good. Hey! Hey!